listen, you don't get to choose necessarily when a flare-up happens. And in the process of recovery from anything, relapses are common, and it's just part of the healing process, and it doesn't have to be this huge, scary, shameful thing, because really, each time you have a slip-up, it's an opportunity to respond to it in a healthier way than you have before. Hi divas. Hi diva cups. How are you? Awesome, good. So here, let me set the scene for you. Okay, it's a Wednesday night. Today's my Friday because I worked today, and I don't work the next couple days. So I got my Himalayan salt lamp, I got my Stanley, and then wind is whistling. I was gonna say howling, but then I landed on whistling. And you can see the trees out there, fairy lights. Kind of a vibe, isn't it? A vibe for talking about relapses. A vibe for... Wow, it's such a beautiful night to talk about my relapse. So I'm not gonna get too into details because no one really needs the details, but as we know, I have struggled with eating disorders since, you know, the beginning. Also, when I was at work, I cut my head. Does anyone want to buy me a cute outfit because I cut my head and you feel bad for me? You can if you want. I wouldn't say no if you said what size are you and what do you want. So anyway, yeah, to make a long story short, I did have a bulimia relapse yesterday. Okay, now I actually am gonna lock in and try to be serious. Yeah, so that happened yesterday for the first time since the summer. And I remember I posted at the start of last summer of 2024, a video about my bulimia story and kind of like how I got to this point and all that. And in that video, I said that I could pretty confidently say that I will never struggle with it again. What's interesting about that is that it wasn't, I don't know, it kind of implied that there's more choice in the matter than there is, you know? And we always have agency over what we do, but I think sometimes when you're out of practice with distress tolerance, because generally I've been mentally doing so well for, again, since the summer. And so when you're in a state where you're constantly struggling with something, like say, you know, I have OCD, I have depression, but say those things are really bad, but I still have to get through the day, that means that I'm having to use my distress tolerance skills because I'm constantly facing the challenges of living with these conditions. So when you go through a period where you haven't been struggling, it means that even though it's wonderful to not have been struggling with this thing, it means that when it does come up, you might be less equipped to deal with it in the short term, because you haven't felt this way in a pretty long time. You haven't exercised those muscles of responding in a healthy way. And I think sometimes that can make it hard to cope with a relapse because you feel so bad about what happened, and it's easy to feel like a failure and like, you know, am I gonna struggle with this forever? Am I like, will I really never get better? You know, it can make you feel like you're back at square one. But the thing is, you're never fully back at square one. You're never fully back at square one. Because each time you go down the spiral, you have more knowledge, you have more experience, you have ways that you've learned to manage, you have, you know, skills that you didn't have before, especially if you've been working on it in therapy or treatment of some kind. But it's very easy to feel like a failure and to feel like a fuck up. And it's also easy, I'll say, to lean into it, you know? So I relapsed yesterday. And then today I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking throw up, I don't care. And then I was like, okay, listen, you don't get to choose necessarily when a flare-up happens. And in the process of recovery from anything, relapses are common, and it's just part of the healing process, and it doesn't have to be this huge, scary, shameful thing, because really, each time you have a slip-up, it's an opportunity to respond to it in a healthier way than you have before. And so that's what I'm trying to do, because today I was kind of like, you know what, I don't even care, I'll just, whatever, throw up. And then I had to catch myself and be like, no, you know what, yeah, you fell off the wagon, okay, but that doesn't mean you have to like make a little home for yourself on the road that the wagon was on and watch the wagon leave. Like, you can get back on the wagon. Might be a little rocky at first. Your horse is a little tired because you stopped for a moment and it thought it got to rest, but then it has to keep moving, so it's going a little slower. We're really going all the way with this metaphor. But you can always get back on the wagon. And I think it's really, oh my god, it's so hard. It's so hard. And you feel ashamed, you feel like you don't want to tell anyone, but at the same time you think people should know, and then at the same time you're like, I wish someone knew that this happened so that I could like be supported right now, but in order to get the support that I need, I have to say that it happened, and I'm too ashamed to do that. Here's the deal. If you don't open up about these things, if you don't try to get help in some way, and listen, treatment for eating disorders, and for really any mental health condition or any type of addictive behavior, treatment is so inaccessible, okay? So inaccessible. And I'm an ambassador with Project Heal, which is an organization that helps, I always get hives in my fucking videos. Oh, and it's happening on this side too. Okay. But anyway, I'm an ambassador for Project Heal. It's a wonderful organization that works to make eating disorder treatment more accessible for people who fall outside of the category of people that are considered like sample eating disorder patients, which are like thin, white, young, cis, rich women. Anyway, listen, I know the call is coming from inside the house, but for people who have struggled to get access to care, and for people who are often overlooked when we think about eating disorders and who has them and what they look like, that can be a resource. But yeah, I just want to say, like, treatment is so inaccessible, and so sometimes opening up to the people around us can be the biggest thing and can be the biggest help, because a problem shared is a problem halved, you know? Like, when you are struggling with something and you share it with people, you know, it's not just all on you anymore. So I encourage you to share it. And for anyone who's struggled with a relapse of any kind, for anything, it could be as like serious as, you know, alcoholism, or it could be as like unserious as social media, okay? Like, you said you weren't going to use it and then you did. For anything like that, don't beat yourself up over it, okay? These things happen. It's part of the process of getting better and getting closer to the type of life that you want to lead. And what matters is not the fact that you fell off the wagon, but how and if you get back on it. And so I'm back on the wagon. I ate everything I wanted today, and I know that I just have to listen to my body, and I don't have to listen to anyone who, you know, kind of spews, I don't even, negative or toxic, like, body and diet talk or whatever. And I know that even if I still struggle with some of this stuff forever, my experience will have been worth it, because I can use it to help other people. And I just felt so fucking lonely. I felt so lonely because I was struggling with this thing, and I was so ashamed because it's been so long. And it just sometimes feels like when that kind of, you know, you have all the days since you've acted on a behavior, and then when it goes back to zero, it feels so bad. It feels symbolic of starting over, but it's not starting over, okay? It's picking up where you left off. And sometimes where you left off, like, okay, think about your mental health like a workplace, okay? Or not a workplace, but like some kind of like service job, like my job. Sometimes you get in the morning and you're like, who the fuck closed last night? Because everything is a mess and nothing is where it's supposed to be. Everything's dirty, and you're like, what the fuck? Who closed? Who closed? And then some days you get in and you're like, wait, it's so nice in here. So the bad closing would be if you're coming, I swear this makes sense. The like bad close is like how you left your mental health. Okay, you know what? You might be coming back to your mental health and being like, what the fuck? You relapsed? You know, ruined everything. It's like, okay, but we still gotta get through the day. We still gotta, you know, make our product, hand out drinks to customers. We still got to do our thing. And you just have to push through, even on the days where it's not easy. Even on the days where it takes a little extra work to get, you know, started and get going. I don't know if this makes sense, but if you've struggled with any of this stuff, you're not alone. And sometimes all you can do is open up about it, let the next day be an opportunity to be a better day. And trust me, I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is. And I know how tempting it is to just throw the towel in and fully give in. And it's not fun. And if you know someone who struggles with this stuff, just know, even though the behaviors are a choice, the emotions that drive the person to act on the behavior are not. And have patience with the people in your life who are struggling with stuff like this, and have patience with yourself if it's you, because that's something we just don't really give ourselves. And I think when you're in the mindset of like, well, fuck, I'm back to square one, I ruined everything, I relapsed, so why even bother trying anymore? I think when you're in that state of low self-esteem that comes after a relapse, because it's usually low self-esteem that leads to it, but then afterwards you feel even worse. And when you're in that low self-esteem state, it's easy to make decisions that will prolong the relapse. It's easy to make decisions that will keep you sick. But you sometimes have to think about, for your future self, what do you want to do? You know, like, what's going to ultimately be helpful down the line? And acting for your future self is really tough, but so worth it. And you have to remind yourself of your values. You know, what do I value? What are my reasons to not give up? You know, maybe I want to get through college. Maybe I want to get through finals week. Maybe I want to have a healthy relationship with my body. Or maybe I want to have a healthy romantic relationship and start a family, and I can't do that if I'm not taking care of myself and making sure that I'm bringing as best of the version of myself as I can to my relationships and to my community. And because really when we take care of ourselves, we're, you know, in a domino effect way, taking care of other people, because we can't, and taking care of our communities, because we can't give the energy that we want to give. We can't give the, you know, best support that we can to those around us, and we can't be present with those around us if we're not taking care of what's in here. So that's all I got for you. It's time for me to watch The Righteous Gemstones and go to freaking bed. Okay, I set it to my Friday. Where's my phone? Did you take it? I'm not mad at you. Just give it back. Okay, but for real, party's over. Where's my phone? It's 7:42 p.m. and I want to go to sleep. But I'm not quite tired yet. And I also, you know, I hate to say this, but I did poop my pants again. Okay, I didn't fully poop my pants again. Okay, and listen, I'm really trying to adjust to this new prescription. It's a common side effect. I'm not crazy, and I'm not some, you know, poop freak. I am a poop freak, but not by choice. You know, this is just the cards I've been dealt. Anyway, I don't think I'm really gonna edit this video that much, so you might see some, you know, awkward moments of me, like, starting saying something, and then stopping, and then saying it again, and then, you know. Okay. Bye-bye. Good night.